Some people say I'm a killer. What? Jab to the mouth, then a shot to the liver. Ooh. Her man wanna take me to dinner. I call him what's her name? I don't eat her.
The mirror in Claressa Shields' locker room should never have been bleeding, not after the victory roar faded or the cameras finally left her alone. Yet a single streak of red slid down the glass, forming one name that made her pulse stop: Papoose. She froze because she hadn't written it, and no one else had a key to the room. Before she could wipe it away, a whisper cut through the silence, trembling with rage. "Tell me you didn't." Claressa turned, breath tightening, as Remy Ma stepped inside, with eyes burning like she had walked in on a crime scene. On the bench behind Claressa, her phone buzzed. Still open to the soft launch selfie she took minutes earlier, her hand tangled with Papoose's, his chain shining against her skin. Remy hadn't seen it yet, but she would. And when the world saw it too, the loyalty Remy believed she owned, her marriage, her pride, her dominance, would shatter in an instant. Because Claressa had finally confirmed the rumor Remy prayed was a lie, and nothing, absolutely nothing, would ever be the same. Long before Claressa Shields ever saw her name dripping in red across a mirror, her life had been shaped by battles no referee ever scored. Battles fought in shadows, alleys, and cold gyms where her fists were the only language she trusted. She grew up hearing people whisper that she was too hard, too sharp, too dangerous to love. But those whispers didn't come close to the truth of what she carried. A childhood marked by instability, a father who vanished, a mother who tried but broke under weight no one saw, and a heart that learned early that loyalty was a luxury, not a guarantee. The only person who understood the fire in her, who didn't flinch at her ambition or treat her strength like a threat, had been Papoose. They met years ago at a charity event where their conversation outlasted every handshake, every photo op, every fake smile. He admired her discipline. She admired his devotion to his craft, to Remy, to family. But admiration was dangerous when it sparked in two people who were never meant to cross that line. Back then, Claressa shoved the connection deep into a place she never planned to revisit. After all, Papoose was the model of loyalty, standing by Remy Ma during prison, during scandals, during all the storms that came with fame. And Claressa respected that, until respect turned into something she couldn't control, a pull she tried to outrun by throwing herself into training camps, world titles, and the cold isolation of early morning workouts. But life had a way of revealing what you tried to bury. Years later, after one of the toughest losses of her career, Papoose sent her a private message, not flirty, not reckless, just a line that broke something open. "You're stronger than this moment." That one message led to conversations about pain, pressure, public expectations, the loneliness of being everyone's hero, but no one's priority. Claressa didn't mean for it to become emotional, didn't mean to lean on someone who already belonged to another woman, especially a woman as feared and respected as Remy Ma. But Papoose understood her in ways no one had. Meanwhile, Remy and Papoose had been drowning quietly in their own cracks. Rumors of tension, missed studio sessions, cold arguments behind closed doors, and a trust that began to unravel when Remy's temper clashed with Papoose's tired patience. Claressa never knew the details, but she could feel the distance in his tone when Remy's name came up. She tried to pull back, tried to delete messages, tried to block her own emotions, but Papoose kept showing up in small, quiet ways, checking on her mental health before big fights, sending her songs that matched her mood, reminding her that she deserved softness too. It was the kind of emotional intimacy that blurred lines faster than either expected. And when Remy got tangled in her own public scandal months later, something in Papoose shifted, a mix of disappointment, heartbreak, and exhaustion that Claressa couldn't ignore. The night everything changed wasn't planned. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't glamorous. It was two people sitting in a quiet car after an event, talking about broken pieces inside them. A hand on a shoulder, a breath too close, a confession whispered in the dark. What started as comfort turned into something neither of them could take back. From that moment, Claressa carried a guilt that pressed on her chest with every win, every celebration, every single time Papoose's name trended next to Remy's. Meanwhile, Remy sensed something shifting, something she couldn't name but felt in her bones. She noticed Papoose's late-night texts, the way he seemed emotional in ways she couldn't reach, the way he defended Claressa publicly more than usual. She didn't have proof, just fear, and fear turned into suspicion, suspicion into anger, and anger into a quiet hunt for the truth. Claressa tried to end things more than once, but emotions don't follow rules, and every time she told Papoose they needed distance, he found a reason to pull her back. By the time they finally took that photo, the soft launch selfie with her hand in his, Claressa knew she wasn't just crossing a line, she was shattering one, and the world she tried so hard to build through discipline and sacrifice was about to collide violently with Remy Ma's world of dominance, loyalty, and unforgiving pride. That blood-stained mirror wasn't magic. It wasn't a curse. It was a warning. Everything in Claressa's life had been leading to this moment, this confrontation, this unraveling of secrets that were never meant to be exposed. And once Remy saw the truth, no amount of apologies, explanations, or tears would be enough to stop what was coming. The confrontation began long before Remy Ma even opened her mouth. It started with a thick silence in the locker room, the kind that squeezes the breath out of your lungs, the kind that warns you something irreversible is coming. Claressa stood frozen, gloves still half-wrapped, heart pulsing like she'd stepped back into the ring for a 12th round she was never prepared for. Remy didn't rush forward, didn't scream, didn't explode the way people expected her to. No, the rage rolling off her was colder than ice, controlled in a terrifying, almost surgical way. "Tell me you didn't," she repeated, voice trembling not with anger, but with betrayal, with humiliation she hadn't even experienced yet, but already felt wrapping around her like chains. Claressa wanted to lie, to buy herself even 5 more seconds of peace. But lies were pointless now. The mirror, the red streak, the phone buzzing again with Papoose's name, lighting up the screen like a confession spelled out in neon. Remy's eyes caught the notification, and her composure shattered like glass under a hammer. She lunged toward the bench, snatching the phone before Claressa could stop her, and the selfie filled the screen. Claressa leaning into Papoose's chest, his arm around her waist, his lips dangerously close to her temple, a soft launch that was never meant for Remy's eyes. Remy's breath left her body in a soundless gasp. For a moment, she didn't even look angry. She looked destroyed, hollow, like the ground had been ripped from beneath her feet. "So this is why he's been distant," she whispered, the words cracking down the middle. "This is why he's been acting different." She wasn't talking to Claressa anymore. She was talking to every memory she'd ever shared with Papoose, every night they survived together, every vow he made during her prison sentence, every moment she thought proved they were unbreakable. But betrayal didn't care about history. Betrayal didn't care about loyalty. Betrayal only cared about the wound it carved. Claressa swallowed hard, guilt and pain swirling in her chest like a storm. She had excuses, emotional connection, long nights of talking, Papoose initiating the conversation that crossed the line, but none of them mattered now. "Remy, listen," she began, but Remy's hand shot up with a fierce shake of her head. "Don't you dare," Remy hissed. "Don't you dare try to soften this." The room vibrated with tension, lights flickering slightly as if responding to the intensity boiling between them. Claressa wasn't just facing Remy Ma, the rapper, the legend, the warrior. She was facing Remy, the wife, the woman who built her identity on loyalty and unshakable devotion, the woman who stood by a man through cages, through scandals, through the unforgiving brutality of fame. And Claressa had touched that loyalty with hands that weren't hers. Remy stepped closer, her voice lowering into something far more chilling. "Do you know what you've done?" she demanded. "Not to me, to him, to yourself." Claressa opened her mouth, but before she could speak, a sharp knock echoed at the locker room door. They both froze. Another knock, urgent, panicked. Claressa's coach called through the door. "Shields, you need to see this. Now." Claressa exchanged a tense glance with Remy, who narrowed her eyes with suspicion. She opened the door, and her coach held out his phone, face pale. "It's online," he muttered. "All of it." Claressa's stomach dropped. The selfie, the messages, a screen recording showing Papoose sending her an audio note the night before. Someone had leaked everything, fast, brutally, publicly. Headlines were already multiplying. Papoose cheating scandal, Claressa Shields, soft lunches romance. Remy Ma's marriage falls apart. Receipts dropped. Boxing champion caught in love triangle with hip-hop royalty. Even worse, someone had posted old screenshots of Claressa and Papoose's earliest emotional conversations. Screenshots she never saved, meaning someone else had access. Remy's face twisted in confusion. How the hell did this get out? Claressa didn't know. She didn't even have time to process it. And then the twist hit like a punch to the ribs. Her coach swallowed hard, hesitating before turning the phone screen so both women could see. It wasn't the blogs that mattered. It was the caption under the biggest post, the one going viral fastest, posted by Lil Mo. Claressa's breath caught. Remy's entire body stiffened. Lil Mo, Remy's longtime friend, sometimes confidant, sometimes rival, the woman who always seemed to know too much, talk too fast, and hold too many receipts. The woman who once said publicly she didn't trust Papoose's energy lately. The woman Remy had confided in during her marriage's rough patch. The woman who had always kept one eye on Claressa, like she was waiting to catch something. And apparently, she had. Remy's jaw clenched so hard her teeth nearly cracked. "Lil Mo," she whispered, betrayal layering over betrayal. She did this? Claressa's mind raced. Why would Lil Mo leak it? What did she gain? Fame? Vengeance? Chaos? Or was she protecting Remy from something bigger? Claressa took a step back, her pulse hammering as another realization struck her. The blood on the mirror. The streak. The name. Papoose. Lil Mo had been backstage earlier. She'd hugged Claressa before the fight. She had access. She had motive. She had the ability to plant the seed of destruction. And the mirror? What looked like blood? What if it wasn't blood at all? What if it was theatrical makeup, a warning disguised as a curse? This wasn't Remy, Claressa whispered to herself. This wasn't me. This was planned. Remy snapped her head up. Planned by who? For what? Claressa opened her mouth, but another phone buzzed. This time it was Remy's. The color drained from her face as she read the text. "You should sit down," she said quietly, voice trembling now for a new reason. Not rage, not heartbreak, but fear. Claressa took the phone. The message was short. It was from an unknown number, and it said, "If you think the photo is bad, wait until you see the video." Claressa's blood ran ice cold. "Video?" she whispered. "What video?" Remy stepped closer, eyes wide. "What did you do with him?" Claressa looked up slowly. dread unfurling through her body like poison. "Nothing," she whispered. "At least, I thought nothing." But the truth was, there had been a night neither of them spoke about, a night Claressa had buried in her memory and sworn never to revisit, a night that, if recorded, would destroy them all. And suddenly, Claressa realized the real villain of this story wasn't Remy, wasn't Papoose. It was someone who wanted all three of them ruined, someone who knew their secrets, someone who wanted war, and they had just declared it. The message about the video spread through Claressa's veins like ice, freezing every instinct she had ever relied on in and out of the ring. She stared at Remy's phone screen long after the words stopped making sense, long after the locker room's faint hum turned into a suffocating silence. A video of what? When? How? Her mind flipped through every moment she and Papoose shared, the car conversation, the emotional confessions, the night she broke down after a brutal training loss, and he held her just for a second, long enough for the world to misinterpret it. But there had been another night, too, a night blurred by exhaustion, tears, and vulnerability, a night that felt like a mistake wrapped in comfort. If someone had footage of that, it would not just be a scandal, it would be an explosion. Remy paced slowly, back and forth like a predator, deciding whether to attack or retreat, and every few seconds her eyes flicked to Claressa, searching for guilt, truth, or answers. "Who knew where you two were that night?" she demanded. Claressa didn't respond at first because she didn't know who to trust anymore. The arena suddenly felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by secrets. Then, from the hallway, whispers started floating in. Reporters murmuring, security guards exchanging glances, staff pretending not to stare. Word had spread faster than wildfire. Claressa had been through controversy before. But this was different. The internet was eating it up like it was a royal betrayal in real time. Suddenly, her coach rushed back in, breathless. "You need to see this," he said, shoving his phone forward. A fake magical message, more like a mysterious, anonymous text, hovered on the screen, sent to dozens of verified accounts at once. It read like a prophecy written in modern slang. "Tonight marks the fall of loyalty. The queen will confront the fighter, the husband will choose, and the truth will be revealed by the one who was never forgiven." Claressa felt the blood drain from her face. "The one who was never forgiven?" she repeated. Remy stiffened. She knew exactly who that line pointed toward, and her voice dropped when she said it. K.O. K.O., Remy's old rival, the one she humiliated publicly years ago, the one who swore she'd get revenge, the one who disappeared from the scene after her career collapsed. She had history with Remy, but she also had history with Papoose, flirtations, rumors, unfinished business. And now she had a motive, revenge against Remy, chaos for Claressa, destruction for Papoose. It made too much sense. Before Claressa could process any of it, more whispers swirled down the hall. Villagers gossiping, or in this era, arena staff gossiping, spread like wildfire. Remy's losing it. Papoose just arrived backstage. Security told him to wait. Lil Mo is tweeting cryptic emojis. Someone said there's a video dropping at midnight. Everything felt like a prophecy unfolding, a curse tightening around all of them. Claressa grabbed her bag, intending to leave before the situation escalated further. But when she stepped into the hallway, cameras flashed, microphones swung toward her, and voices shouted like arrows. "Did you break up Remy and Papoose? Is there a sex tape? Is Papoose with you right now? Are you pregnant?" The questions kept hitting her until she felt dizzy, and Remy's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Move!" She shoved through the crowd, her presence alone enough to part the sea of reporters. Claressa didn't know whether Remy was protecting her or cornering her, but right now they needed each other against the vultures outside. They slipped into a side hallway, and that's when Papoose appeared at the end of it, stalwart, calm, but with eyes darkened by a storm he hadn't yet explained. "We need to talk," he said, but Remy's laugh, sharp, broken, lethal, cut him off. "Talk," she snapped. "Talk about what? The pictures, the messages, the fact the whole world knows before I do?" Papoose raised his hands, trying to steady the situation, but Claressa could tell by his expression he was hiding something too. Something he didn't want to say in front of Remy. Claressa took a step back. The lights above them flickered. Whether from a faulty system or the tension crackling through the hallway, no one knew. Suddenly, another phone buzzed. Then another. Then another. A chilling notification flashed across all three screens at the same time. New post from KO official. Claressa's heart stopped. Remy cursed under her breath. Papoose closed his eyes like he already knew what was coming. The post loaded slowly, agonizingly, like fate dragging its feet. It wasn't the video, not yet. Instead, it was a scroll, an image of an old handwritten apology letter from Remy to KO from years ago. A letter Remy wrote after an incident the public never learned about. Something Remy buried, something KO never forgave. The caption read, "If the Queen wants loyalty, she should start by telling the truth. Midnight, the world sees what she's been hiding." Remy's entire body froze, and the twist hit as hard as a knockout punch. The upcoming video might not even be about Claressa and Papoose. It might be about Remy. Claressa stumbled back, the world tilting. This was never about exposing us," she whispered. "This was about destroying you." Remy didn't speak. Papoose didn't breathe. Midnight was coming fast. And now everything, marriage, careers, loyalty, friendships, was seconds away from collapse. And that's when the second twist slammed into them. Papoose turned to Claressa, voice low, urgent, shaking. "There is a video," he said, "but it's not what you think, and it's not about us." Claressa blinked, stunned. "Then what is it?" Papoose swallowed hard, looking between the two women, guilt carving deep into his expression. "It's about Remy," he whispered, "and someone she doesn't want either of you to know she met. The night you thought I betrayed you." Remy's face went white. Claressa's blood turned to fire, and KO's countdown to midnight had just begun. The fallout didn't wait for midnight. By the time Claressa, Remy, and Papoose stepped out of that dim hallway, the entire arena felt like a kingdom imploding under the weight of a prophecy fulfilled. Gossip flooded every corner like wildfire, reporters whispering into cameras, fans refreshing KO's page every second, security guards pretending not to listen while secretly texting updates to friends, and staff huddling in doorways like villagers after a royal scandal. Claressa felt the eyes on her, accusing, fascinated, hungry, as if the world had already carved her into the villain of someone else's love story. Remy walked like a queen stripped of her crown, but refusing to bow, chin high even as the tremor of fear and fury shook inside her. And Papoose, he stayed one step behind, torn between two women, two truths, and one rapidly collapsing marriage. When they reached the parking lot, the chaos only grew. Phones flashed, fans yelled theories. Bloggers recorded live videos narrating the downfall in real time. "Remy's crying," someone screamed. "Papoose cheated," another insisted. "Claressa ruined the black love couple." "KO's dropping crazy stuff tonight." "There's a video. Everyone's saying it." The noise pressed on Claressa's skull like a curse. She kept walking, head down, wishing she could disappear into the night. but the storm followed her. Someone slipped a folded scroll, really a handwritten note, onto her car windshield. A message written in messy ink. "You're not ready for what she's hiding." It wasn't signed, but the handwriting looked familiar. Taunting, sharp, almost mocking. K.O. Claressa crumpled it in her fist, just as Remy caught sight of her reading it. "What is that?" Remy demanded, voice shaking. Claressa shook her head. "It's nothing, just someone trying to stir more drama." But Remy snatched the paper from her hand anyway. She scanned it, and her face twisted with fresh disgust, not at Claressa, but at the realization that this entire night was orchestrated to tear her apart. Meanwhile, a group of women standing near a car watched them openly, whispering behind manicured hands like tavern gossips, swapping scandal over ale. Claressa heard snippets. "Remy always runs her mouth. Papoose ain't loyal. Claressa too strong for drama like this. K.O. been waiting years for this moment." Their words sliced through the air, feeding the fire burning inside the trio. And then Remy's assistant rushed toward them, panting, waving her phone like a warning flare. "They're sending scrolls to the blogs," she blurted out. "Old interviews, backstage arguments, secret studio footage, everything. Someone's documenting your entire life like a curse unraveling." Remy's eyes flashed with panic, and then rage. "She wants to destroy me," she whispered. "Not my marriage, me." Claressa finally saw the deeper truth, the emotional wound under everything. Remy wasn't just angry that Claressa and Papoose crossed a line. She was terrified of being exposed, undone, humiliated at the exact moment she thought she was rebuilding her empire. "We need to talk somewhere private," Papoose said firmly, stepping between them like a shield. "You both deserve the truth." But before they could move, a black SUV screeched into the lot, doors popping open like a scene staged for the blogs. Dozens of phones rose, recording, and from the back seat stepped the last person Remy wanted to see. Fat Joe, her mentor, her brother, the one who defended her publicly for decades, the one who warned her about K.O., the one who would not stay silent if he believed she'd crossed lines the world didn't know yet. "What's going on?" he demanded, voice booming across the parking lot. "I leave for 3 hours, and the whole internet is burning your names alive." Remy swallowed hard. Claressa looked away. Papoose rubbed his face in exhaustion. Fat Joe glared at them, waiting. Before Remy could speak, Claressa felt her phone buzz in her pocket, a private message from an unknown account. "You want the truth? Check the scrolls before midnight. She lied to both of you." A link followed. Claressa didn't open it. Not yet, not in public. Fat Joe forced all 3 of them into his SUV, slamming doors shut, blocking the world outside. Inside the dim car, Remy sat rigid. Papoose stared at his hands, and Claressa waited for someone to break the silence. Finally, Remy whispered, "I didn't cheat," but her voice cracked. "Then what's the video?" Claressa asked quietly. Remy hesitated. Too long. Papoose stared at her, confused, betrayed, scared. "Remy," he said softly, "what did you do?" Tears filled Remy's eyes, but she blinked them away with stubborn pride. "I didn't cheat," she repeated, "but I met with someone I shouldn't have, someone who wanted to hurt you, and I didn't tell you because I thought it was handled." Claressa felt her stomach twist. Fat Joe swore under his breath. Papoose leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Who?" he demanded. Remy opened her mouth, hesitated, and then said the name that made everyone freeze. "K.O.'s brother." The car went dead silent. Claressa felt the world tilt. Fat Joe cursed again, louder this time, and Papoose's face turned gray as realization sank in. Whatever Remy did, whatever she tried to hide. KO wasn't exposing the Claressa Papoose scandal to hurt them. She was doing it to destroy Remy. The entire kingdom was collapsing because of something Remy did first, something she thought buried, something that was now rising from the dead like a curse seeking revenge. And midnight was only minutes away. Midnight hit like a blade, slicing through the silence of the SUV, as every phone inside lit up at once with the alert they had all been dreading. KO official has posted a new video. Remy's breath hitched as she stared at the notification, her fingers trembling in a way Claressa had never seen from the woman who once survived prison like a warrior queen. Papoose reached for his phone but hesitated, eyes flicking toward Remy with a fear that said he already knew this was going to change everything. "Don't open it," Remy whispered, voice cracking like old parchment. But the command came too late. Outside the SUV, fans were screaming, reacting, gasping, dropping their phones, replaying something the three of them still hadn't seen. Fat Joe cursed under his breath and slammed the lock on the doors. "Nobody moves," he growled. "Not until we know what's in that damn video." But Claressa couldn't wait. Her thumb tapped the notification, and the screen flashed to life with KO's face, smirking, glowing with revenge, eyes glittering like she'd waited years to deliver this blow. "Good evening to the kingdom," she purred. "I promised truth at midnight. And I keep my promises better than some people." The video cut to grainy footage, hidden camera style, showing a dim studio hallway from months ago. Remy was there, hood up, moving fast, nervous. She wasn't meeting KO's brother by accident. She had sought him out. Claressa felt her heartbeat crawl up her throat. Papoose leaned closer, confusion twisting into something darker. "Remy, what is this?" But the footage continued. Remy handed KO's brother something. A scroll, no, a folded paper, sealed. He opened it, his eyes widened, and then he grabbed Remy's arm, whispering something frantically. The audio was distorted, but one sentence broke through clearly. "If Papoose finds out the truth about that night, everything falls apart." Papoose's entire body froze. Claressa's vision blurred. Even Fat Joe let out a stunned, "Oh, hell no." The video zoomed in on Remy's face. Fear, regret, desperation, all of it caught on camera. KO's voiceover sliced through the moment. So while Miss Loyalty was crying about a selfie, she was hiding the truth that could break her entire marriage. The footage kept playing. Remy shoved the man back, whispering, "I didn't know she would find out. It wasn't supposed to get this far." And that one line detonated everything. She wasn't talking about KO. She wasn't talking about a blogger. She was talking about Claressa. The camera cut off. KO reappeared, leaning in with a final venomous smile. "And if you think that's the full story, trust me, part 2 is worse." The video ended. Silence thick enough to choke on swallowed the SUV. Claressa felt like she'd been punched in the ribs by someone twice her size. Papoose stared at Remy, betrayed confusion raging across his face. "What truth?" he demanded quietly. "What happened that night? What were you trying to hide from me?" Remy's lips trembled, the mask finally cracking, the queen finally cornered. "I didn't cheat," she whispered, "but I did something to protect us." "Protect who?" Papoose snapped. "Me? Claressa? Yourself?" Claressa swallowed hard, her voice barely forming. "What was I supposed to find out?" Remy didn't answer. Couldn't. The truth was written in her eyes. Terror, guilt, a secret rotting inside her that KO clearly planned to drag into the sunlight. And then Claressa's phone buzzed again. A new message from the same unknown number. "You want the truth?" a second message followed instantly. Check the spell written behind your locker mirror, the one she wiped away before you arrived. Claressa's lungs locked. She hadn't wiped anything. She hadn't even touched the mirror. Slowly, she raised her eyes to Remy. Remy flinched, just barely, but Claressa saw it. The fear, the recognition, the truth. "Remy," Claressa whispered, "you wrote that name on my mirror?" Remy didn't speak, didn't breathe, and that was all the answer Claressa needed. Fat Joe cursed. Papoose covered his face, shattered. And Claressa felt something inside her snap. Not anger, not heartbreak, but something deeper. Remy hadn't been ambushed by the scandal. She hadn't been blindsided by betrayal. She had been the one setting the stage. She had been trying to expose something first, something worse, before KO could. Midnight had passed, but the war had only just begun. And KO's final message lit up every screen inside the SUV. Part 2 drops tomorrow, and this time, the fighter won't survive the truth. Claressa's hands trembled as the cliffhanger settled into her bones. Whatever Remy did, whatever truth she buried, whatever secret she tried to outrun, it was about to destroy all of them. And now, as the kingdom trembles under the weight of midnight revelations, as Remy's silence hangs heavier than any confession, as Claressa's heart pounds with the terror of a truth she never knew she was living inside, the story turns to you. Because what happens next isn't just a scandal, it's a reckoning, a test of loyalty, love, betrayal, and the kind of secrets that can destroy entire empires with one video, one lie, one name written in red on a mirror. So, before the next chapter unfolds, ask yourself the questions that haunt every corner of this unfolding war. If you discovered your name written in a spell meant to expose your darkest truth, would you wipe it away, or would you face what it reveals? If the person you loved hid a secret that could burn your world to ashes, would you forgive them, or would you watch the fire spread? And most dangerously, if the truth was coming for you, would you run, or would you let it catch you? Comment below and tell us what you think Remy is hiding, what KO really wants, and whether Claressa should stay to fight or walk away before the next explosion hits. Hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and prepare yourself, because the next chapter will not simply reveal the truth. It will drag it into the light, kicking and screaming. And when the spell finally breaks, nothing in this triangle of love, power, and betrayal will ever look the same again. The real war starts next.